Hello everyone, this is Divya working as assistant professor in EEE department at St. Peter's Engineering College. So in the last classes we discussed about various topics in the course control system. So in this class I want to explain the difference between the transient response and the steady state response in the time response analysis of a first order system and the second order system. So let us discuss that one by using a slide. I will share a slide here. So here you can see that there are two types of transient response which are presenting in the two diagrams. So here in the first graph, it is representing the transient response like this, but in the second graph, the transient response is nothing but it is increasing like a linear graph. Here we have to achieve the required output, that is 1, but we are obtaining an error which can be represented as ESS. ESS is nothing but that is the steady state error representation. After TS only, that means after the time period TS only, we are obtaining the steady state response here, and here also after TS only, we are obtaining the steady state response, right? And here that in the transient response, there exists an alternating waveform. That means the output is not a constant term up to TS here. Here also the output is not a constant, but it is varying. Varying linearly, and the input is represented with C of t, and on x-axis we are representing the time period t. In the last classes I already explained about how we can classify the time response. So the time response is nothing but the transient response analysis and steady state response. The transient response and steady state response are combinedly called as time response. For every system there exists a transient response and a steady state response, right? So coming to the next one, we will deal with the parameters. That means how we can able to obtain the response of a system. To obtain the response of a system, we have to consider the parameters, right? So here we have to obtain the total response of the system. The total response is indicated with the letter C. That means we have to represent the response of a system with the letter C. So that's why here I indicated the response of the system with C of t. The total response is nothing but the summation of both the transient response and the steady state response, which gives the total response. The total response of the system is indicated with the letter C of t. And coming to the steady state error, now only I explained you here ESS is meant by the steady state error. What it indicates, the difference between the actual signal and the output which is achieved by S. That difference gives the steady state error. So how we can define the steady state error? The difference between the desired output and the actual output of the system is called as steady state error. So that the steady state error can be defined as this is the difference between the desired output and the actual output. So the difference is called as steady state error, and which can be represented by the small letter e in suffix with ss. Ss is nothing but steady state. Okay. So now we will analyze the first order system. First of all, what is meant by order of a system, right? All of you know in the differential equations how you can determine the order of a equation based on the degree of the derivative. You can say the order of the equation. But coming to the transfer function, here in the control systems, you have to determine the order of a system based on your transfer function equation. So here let us take the first order system. Means I am considering C of S by R of S, which is nothing but the Laplace transform of output divided by the Laplace transform of input. Right. So here I am taking C of S divided by R of S is equal to 1 divided by tau S plus 1. Here tau is nothing but that is the time constant, and S is the Laplace transform plus 1, right? So here what is the order, that means what is the degree of the S term which is presenting in the denominator here. That term represent your order of the equation. Here in the denominator there exists only one S, that means tau into S plus 1. So the degree of the S is 1 here. So we can say it as a first order system. So we have to analyze this system. So if we analyze this transfer function system, that means we can analyze the first order system. To analyze the first order system, what we have to say, what we have to take, we have to take the transfer function of the first order system. So here I am considering the transfer function of the first order system. So for that reason I am taking C of s by R of s, which is equal to 1 divided by tau s plus 1, right? How you can consider this transfer function is a first order system transfer function? How we can say that the degree of the s term which is presenting in the denominator should be equal to 1. So here there exists only one s term in the denominator and the degree is also equal to 1. So we can say that this transfer function represents a first order system transfer function, right? So for example, if I am giving a unit step response as the input signal for that particular first order system, then what will happen? That means I'm considering r of u of t. That means I'm taking a unit step response. R of t is equal to u of t. U of t is equal to 1 at t greater than or equal to 0. Is it right? Initially, that only we saw, right? What we seen earlier, the step response, if you are considering, that means u of t is equal to a at t greater than or equal to 0. At t less than 0, u of t is equal to 0. What I am saying here, I am considering a unit step response. That means u of t is equal to 1 at t greater than or equal to 0. At remaining all other values, that should be equal to 0, right? So here r of t is equal to u of t is equal to 1. What is meant by r of s here? The Laplace transform of r of t. That means the Laplace transform of u of t. What is the Laplace transform of 1? That is 1 by s, right? So here I am considering r of s is equal to 1 by s. Now what I am doing is I am substituting this value in the transfer function equation. So we can say that C of s is equal to 1 by tau s plus 1 into r of s. In the place of r of s, I am substituting this 1 by s value. So what I can get here, 1 divided by s into tau s plus 1. So from this equation, by doing the partial fractions, I can obtain it as 1 divided by s minus 1 divided by s plus 1 by tau. So now what I am doing is I am applying inverse Laplace transform on both sides of the equation. So what is the left hand side part here? That is C of s, right? On right hand side we obtain 1 by s minus 1 by s plus 1 by tau. So by applying inverse Laplace transform, the Laplace transform of time domain is nothing but frequency domain. That means S plane, right? The inverse Laplace transform of frequency domain is nothing but time domain. That means Laplace inverse of C of S is nothing but C of t. We can able to obtain C of t by doing inverse Laplace transform of the final equation here, right? So the Laplace inverse of C of S is equal to C of t, which is equal to the Laplace inverse of 1 by s minus the Laplace inverse of 1 by s plus 1 by tau, right? So what is the Laplace inverse of 1 by s? That is nothing but 1. And the Laplace inverse of 1 by s plus 1 by tau, that means the Laplace inverse of 1 by s plus a, which is nothing but e power minus at, right? But here we are having, in the place of a, we are having 1 by tau. So we have to take e power minus t by tau. So here what I am writing finally is C of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus t by tau. So this is the final response of the system. This is the total response of the system which is obtained by using a first order control system. That means we are doing the analysis of a first order system. From that we obtain the total response C of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus t by tau, where tau is called as time constant of the system. Tau is nothing but tau is the time constant of the system. If for example I am assuming the time constant of the system is equal to the time period which we considered here. So now let us take, if t is equal to tau, so that what will happen? If I substitute t equal to tau, both will cancel each other and the value 1 should be remain here. What is the value of e power minus 1? That is 0.37, right? So by substituting these values, we can obtain C of tau is equal to 1 minus 0.37, so that we can obtain 0.63 here. Okay, so here this t is different from this tau. This t is nothing but the time value, instant of time value. Tau is nothing but that is the time constant. Based on the circuit parameters, the time constant will change, but the time is varying continuously. This time period is different from this time constant. Okay, and coming to the second order system, we can obtain the analysis of a second order system by using a damping ratio. By using a damping ratio, that means we have to consider a factor named as damping factor. That damping factor can be denoted by the letter zeta, by the letter zeta as shown here. Okay, so the damping is measured by a factor called damping ratio, and that is represented by the letter zeta. So when zeta is maximum, it produces the maximum opposition to oscillatory behavior of the system. If zeta is maximum, it produces the maximum opposition to oscillatory behavior of the system. And coming to the natural frequency oscillations, when the zeta becomes zero, that means there is no opposition to the oscillatory behavior of the system. So then that system is called as, it is naturally oscillating system. So thus when zeta is zero, the system oscillates with a maximum frequency. When zeta is not zero, the system does not oscillate with a maximum frequency. And coming to the general form of a second order equation, we have to consider like this. So here I am taking the gain g of s is equal to b divided by s square plus as plus b, and we can also write as the transfer function g of s is equal to omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n into s plus omega n square. This is the closed loop transfer function equation. This is the standard form of closed loop second order transfer function. Okay, this is very very important. G of s is equal to omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n into s plus omega n square. Okay, so this is the transfer function of the second order closed loop system. And coming to the zeta aggregation, that means based on zeta we can consider the system into different types of dampings. So based on the zeta, a second order system can be set into four categories. Those are over damping situation, under damping situation, undamped and critically damped. So if the value of zeta is greater than 1, that means when the system has two real distinct poles, then we can say the system as a over damped system. See here, what I mentioned here in the first case, in the over damped system, when the system has two real distinct poles, that means if the value of zeta is greater than 1, then the system is said to be a over damped system. If the value of zeta lies between 0 and 1, then the system is said to be a under damped system. If the value of zeta is equal to 0, then the system is said to be a undamped system. The undamped system is different from underdamped system. Try to understand, ma. The undamped system is different from under damped system. If the value of zeta is equal to 1, that means if the damping ratio is equal to 1, what will happen? The system will become a critically damped system. Okay, the system will become a critically damped system. That means in the over damped system, the zeta value should be greater than 1. That means when two real distinct poles are existing in the system, then that system is called as over damped system. If the zeta value lies between 0 and 1, that means when the system has two complex conjugate poles, then the system is said to be an underdamped system. What is meant by complex conjugate poles again? Complex conjugate poles are nothing but if one pole is A plus IB, then other pole must be equal to A minus IB, right? One pole is equal to A plus IB, then the other pole must be equal to A minus IB. If the poles are like that, then those poles are called as complex conjugate poles. And coming to the third one, that is undamped system. If the zeta value is equal to 0, that means if the damping ratio is equal to 0, when the system has two imaginary poles, then that system is called as undamped system, right? All of you know about imaginary poles. Imaginary poles are nothing but the values which are represented with j. right? And coming to the critically damped system, when the value of zeta is equal to 1, that means for a damping ratio is equal to 1 and it has two real but equal poles, then that system is called as critically damped system. That means based on the zeta only you are classifying the second order system into four types of damping system. Those are over damped, under damped, undamped and critically damped. And again here based on the poles also you are classifying. What is meant by pole again? In the transfer function equation, that means in the transfer function formula, in the denominator, if you consider the denominator term equal to 0, then what are the values you are obtaining for s? That means the values of s which are containing the values of s which can implement the transfer function equation to a infinite value. That means if you substitute the value of s in that particular transfer function equation, the transfer function value must be equal to infinite. Then those types of values of s are called as poles of the given control system. So based on the poles and based on the damping ratio value, these second order systems are classified into four types, okay, as we discussed now. And coming to these systems based on the poles and based on the damping ratio, that means zeta, these are classified into different four types. So in this class what we discussed, how many types of transient response and steady state response exist, and what is the parameters we have to consider, that is the total response C of t, and what is meant by steady state error, that is ESS, that means the difference between the actual output and the obtained output is nothing but the steady state error. And also we discussed about the analysis of the first order system, that means here we considered the transfer function having 1 as the order, and in that we substituted R of s, that means here I considered a unit step response as the input. So from that I substituted R of s is equal to 1 by s, and I applied inverse Laplace transform on both sides to this equation, and I obtained the equation for C of t, that is 1 minus e power minus t by tau. Here t is nothing but the time period and tau is the time constant. If t and tau are equal, then what is the value of C of t? That is nothing but 0.63. C of t is nothing but C of tau here. Why? Because t is equal to tau, right? So C of tau is equal to 0.63. And coming to the second order system, to analyze the second order system, what is the parameter we are considering here? That is nothing but damping ratio, which is represented with zeta. If zeta is maximum, it produces the maximum opposition to oscillatory behavior of the system. If zeta is minimum, it produces no opposition to the oscillatory behavior of the system. Then the system will oscillate naturally. So thus when zeta is 0, the system oscillates with a maximum frequency because there is no opposition in the system, so that the system operates with a maximum frequency. So based on the zeta value and number of poles, we are classified the second order systems into four different types, and we have to consider a standard second order transfer function equation, which is nothing but g of s is equal to omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n into s plus omega n square. Here zeta is the damping ratio. Based on this damping ratio value and the location of poles, that means type of poles, we are classified the second order system into four different types. Those are over damped, under damped, undamped and critically damped. Okay, clear? So this is the end of this session. In the next session I will discuss another topic. Thank you.